What's up, everyone? This is Eric Ayala, and this is the This Is Tattoo podcast. I hope you enjoyed episode number 1 with Sergio, and I hope you will enjoy episode number 2 with Troy Peace. Troy owns Midtown Tattoo in Los Angeles, California, and he has got some crazy stories. It was pretty fun, and we go off on a little rant about kind of the state of tattooing right now. Towards the end, hope nobody gets offended, but who knows? Yeah, it was cool talking to him, man. He's a really good dude. It was cool hanging out. I got to hang out in his machine shop and watch him make machines. And it was a fun experience. It was a fun experience going there. Thank you, Troy, for letting me hang out. Today's episode of This Is Tattoo is brought to you by Chroma Tattoo Ink. Chroma Tattoo Ink is made of 100% powder pigment. It has no acrylic resins in it, and it saturates into the skin as fast or faster than any predispersed ink. Wow. I can't believe I actually was able to knock that out, really. Oh, man, that's cool. Okay, so anyways, what does that mean? Well, 100% powder pigments are the best pigments. We all know that, especially for color, bright, bold, traditional tattooing. The fact that it has no acrylic resins in it means that it will not dry in your ink cap. It won't dry even if it's left out. And it is an incredible process. Damien, who owns Chroma, we were talking on the phone for a little while, and he was explaining his process. It took him years to develop this process of making ink. You can actually just leave the bottle open. Damien said, you leave the bottle open and it won't dry out. I mean, that's insane to me, you know? It saturates into the skin really quickly. That's one thing he was talking to me about. It took them a lot of trial and error, a long, long time, for them to figure out how to make this ink saturate into your skin super easily. And I mean, it shows that there's a lot of effort put into this. So if you are a tattooer, professional tattooers only, go pick yourself up a bottle. I reached out to Chroma because I love their ink. And I wanted to make sure that if anybody's going to be sponsoring my podcast or any of my endeavors, I would want them to be some stuff that I use and I back 100%. So I'm telling you, it's got my stamp of approval, if that means anything to you. And check it out, man. You won't be disappointed. All right, without further ado, here is the This Is Tattoo podcast with Troy Peace. Troy, what's up, man?
Not a whole lot. Getting through this pandemic.
Oh, yeah. How's that been working out for you? Good?
California is fucking terrible, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been closed 6 months out of the last 9, I think, something like that. It's been so stupid.
When did you guys reopen?
I think a little under 2 months ago, something like that. Has it been about 2 months? Something like that. Why am I asking?
Doesn't matter. Nobody's going to fact check you.
Doesn't matter.
Well, right on, man. So basically what I wanted to ask you and talk about on this podcast was just kind of like people's lineage and where they learned and different, like where you worked, who you've worked with, and different stories from along the way. So where did you learn? Who did you learn under? How long ago?
I never had a formal apprenticeship. I started tattooing in the early 90s. Tattooing wasn't popular at the time. There was maybe like 5 shops in all of Orange County. I was born here in Los Angeles, but my mom moved to Orange County when I was in like the very end of middle school, the very beginning of high school. So I basically went to high school in Orange County. I did go to high school in Orange County, but tattooing wasn't that popular. It was still pirate type shit, biker, outlaw. It was starting to get a little bit more artistic and stuff like that, but for the most part, it was still outlawish. So it was impossible to break in. If you didn't know, I knew a lot of people that tattooed. I knew people that had apprenticeships, but it was like the luck of the draw. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If you got lucky enough to get an apprenticeship, it was like special back then. It was really difficult to get into tattooing at the time. Now you don't need anything. You
Yeah.
can learn everything on YouTube, and
Yeah.
everything is available for you. But it wasn't like that in the 90s.
What do you think they looked for in apprentices back then?
People that would take absolute fucking horrible dog shit.
Yeah.
Take abuse. For real. Yeah, just slaves, basically. People that were easy to be around and people that would do absolute dog shit work. I knew a couple of people that got apprenticeships that I didn't even know that they were artistic at all in any sort of capacity. They're like skaters and shit. They had no real artistic ability, but because they would put up with whatever their mentor was teaching them or telling them to do, that they would continue to apprentice under them. So I was like a hardcore kid growing up. So I never stayed anywhere too long. I moved out of my mom's house like 16, basically.
Oh, yeah.
I moved to Utah when I was like 16. So I don't even know if I could, even if I got an opportunity there, I don't think I could have stayed with it because my life was so chaotic at the time, moving and stuff so much. I don't think that I could have stayed with it. So I think I needed to do it on my terms anyway. So I'm self-taught, I guess, long form answer. A long way of saying I fucking taught myself.
Yeah. So where'd you get your like tattoo stuff? Like how'd you start doing that?
Started making them, like really crude, homemade tattoo machines. And a guy named Gavin, he was from New York. He had like some technical or Spalding, some shit supply kit. And so he gave me a power supply, and I think it was like a Puma. I'm pretty sure it was a Puma liner. They're terrible. I had no idea what I was doing first off, but the machines it was god awful. The pigment was old. It was just bad. But it was my foray into like knowing what like a tattoo machine is more than how to make a Walkman motor type machine, like what an actual tattoo. I mean, I already knew what one was, but being able to hold one and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Get
mess
familiar with it.
Yeah,
exactly.
for sure.
Sorry. It's a loud neighborhood.
Okay, so that guy's supposed to be doing that right now.
Yeah, it's ambiance. Yeah, so I started making them, and then I got that machine, but that machine was crap, and it was really difficult to get supply at the time. Get tubes, needles, inks, anything. It was really difficult to get anything at the time because no one would help you out. Tattooers would not help you out, at least in my case. I used to go make needles at this friend of mine's shop, and I would make them for fucking hours. They taught me how to make needles, 5 flats and 3s and type 5s, shits like that. And I would be able to take a couple home at the end of the day. That was like a reward for me.
Oh, okay.
But they were it might as well have been gold. There was no way to obtain it any other way. So I was fine doing it to get a few needles to bring back to my house. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So I got used. I mean, pretty severely.
Yeah.
Making needles and shit for hours to take a few home. It's pretty stupid. I was not even an apprentice. And actually it was almost like an anti-apprenticeship because I would get horrible misinformation.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like, they would tell you shit they know is going to sabotage you in hopes that you stop fucking trying to tattoo. I remember them telling you, like, never shake your black. I don't know why. I mean, maybe it settles and they're hoping that you get, like, gray wash instead of, I don't know what I remember hearing that a couple times. I don't know if that was like an old tattoo thing to like tell lames like, hey, tell this dude don't shake his black. I don't know what it was, but I remember hearing it at the time thinking, why wouldn't I shake it?
Yeah.
But I probably didn't for a little bit.
Really?
But there was a company called Unimax in New York, and it was 1-800-9-UNIMAX, I believe was the number, and they would literally sell you fucking anything.
Like anybody they would sell?
Anybody.
Yeah.
If you had an address, they would send COD. So your like postman would come, you give him $5 or whatever the fuck it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, Unimax. So you could buy like 3 needles in a tube, 3 individual blister pack needles. So I did that for a while. Like whenever.
So you were buying just like, oh, I got a couple tattoos coming up. I'm gonna buy like a couple needles and then
I
pay
would
the postman.
reuse needles.
Oh shit!
Like a lot. Boil them. I figured out if you get a pressure cooker, I would create like almost like a mini autoclave, and I bent some sort of rack or chicken wire or whatever. I put water in the bottom, just like an autoclave, and then you would run it for like 4 hours because it wasn't hot enough and there wasn't enough like pressure in it. So you did it like so much longer, hoping that it killed whatever the fuck was in there.
Do you think it actually worked?
No, I don't. Well, to a degree, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how microbes live, but 4 hours in a pressure cooker, probably not a lot's gonna survive.
Hard,
but
yeah.
I don't think that it's an optimal way to do it. Yeah, it was pretty gross.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
Dude, just boiling fucking needles. I would use them until they just wouldn't work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'd be so dull. So gross.
Oh man, how long did you do that for then?
Off and on for years. I kind of always knew I'd be a tattooer, regardless of how much. I didn't like. It's so hard to say right now, or like to comprehend right now, because tattooing's popular and it's in the mainstream and people give a fuck about it, and celebrities but that didn't exist back then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not only was it not popular, it was still a taboo. People didn't get tattooed on their hands. They didn't get tattooed on their throats.
Yeah.
Literally, they call them job stoppers because you fucking couldn't get a job with tattoos on your hands.
Yeah.
If you had tattoos on your forearms, it was like a big deal. And this is only, a little less than 30 years ago. It was a completely different culture. Yeah, I did that off and on until.
What were you doing to make money then? Were you working another hustle, or is that you were just?
Dude, I was a hardcore kid at the time.
Oh, you just okay, just staying wherever, and you didn't need much money.
Well, yeah. I mean, we stole a lot.
Yeah.
I was also doing graffiti and shit, which comes along with stealing as like part of graffiti. It's just peanut butter and jelly. It's the same. It's synonymous with graffiti. So, I did that for a while. Then I got in trouble, and I went on the run, and I got a job in New Orleans at a shop.
That was the first shop you worked at?
I didn't own any tattoo equipment. None. Not a fucking nothing.
Did they know that when they hired you?
Yeah, I told the guy, like, hey. I mean, I think the dude was like he smoked crack and shit, but I don't know what I don't know if he was involved in I don't know what he did, but he owned a shop called Forbidden Art in New Orleans. It was on Magazine and Felicity, and this is 1998, I believe. And he hired me off a drawing. I just drew something,
Yeah, you went in asking for a job, and you showed him a drawing, and he was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And I'll give you the shit to do the tattoos with.
And then he would charge you.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Like you had to rent the shit for him?
So it'd be like, it's $1 for the needle. It's, you know, if you want to use my tubes, which there was not a lot of disposable at the time, so it was all steel. Yeah, he charged us for the fucking needles. I mean, whatever. You can't complain. I didn't have anything, and I got a job tattooing.
Yeah.
So that was the first like shop that I worked at. But
What kind of area was that in?
horrible.
Yeah, because you said he did crack.
Oh, you smoke crack.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a wild dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a crazy dude. Yeah, I'm trying to think. It was right across the street from the biggest project in America at the time. It was called St. Thomas Projects.
Mm-hmm.
And it was directly across the street from it. And I believe half of it burnt down, and then I think after Katrina, it's pretty much gone now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was a cool little area. It was in the 10th Ward. Sorry, my dog.
No, that's cool. I think you've told me some stories about working at that shop. Like the police didn't even go into that place.
No, I remember when I first got there, they told me a story about a dude that had a rebel flag sticker on the back of his car that got shot. I think he was trying to buy crack in the projects or whatever. But come on, move. God damn it. And they shot him in his truck, and they just fucking left him in his truck for like weeks. But the police didn't want to go in there and deal with it. So he started stinking so bad, they just put the car in neutral and rolled it into the street, so somebody had to deal with it. Yeah, pretty wild.
That's horrible.
Yeah. It was a wild time. I mean, it was like right when Cash Money and No Limit shit was all really popular, so their city was like electric at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially like the criminal type side of that city was so alive at the time. Obviously, prior to Katrina. Yeah, it was something. It's a weird place to start.
How long did you work there?
Not long at all. I was strung out.
Mm.
I went there and got strung out again. And my friend Matt moved with me, and he wanted to go back home. And the place we were living at, I couldn't stay, so I just said fuck it, and we left. Mm-hmm. I don't remember any real inciting incident that we left. It was just couldn't stay. Matt wanted to go home. So we left.
And then from there, where'd you end up working?
I moved from there back to San Francisco, and I didn't tattoo. I was strung out like a motherfucker at the time, and I was in trouble with the law, like severely in trouble with the law. I ended up staying in San Francisco, back and forth from San Francisco to Santa Cruz I was staying out of Salt Lake because I was in trouble at Salt Lake at the time. I'd come back down here, but I wasn't doing anything tattoo related at all.
And how long were you just bouncing around and not just being strung out?
Well, I went on trial in 99. So after trial, I was found not guilty in my trial, but I still had a state case, and I just left. So I beat my federal trial, and I was like, that's enough. Like, I don't want to keep doing this shit. I'm fucking out of here. So I left again, went to New York, stayed in New York for a while, went to Austin after that. Was staying in San Francisco. It wasn't working out there. The people I was with had falling out and shit. I didn't want to stay there. So I ended up going to New York, to Austin. I stayed in Austin and New York around the same amount of time. Maybe Austin a little bit longer. But I didn't tattoo there either. Strung out again. Mm-hmm. So I didn't start... Well, I mean, I would still tattoo. Don't get me wrong. Still, like, if I could do it, I would. Mm-hmm. Even stick and poke shit. Or if I could build a shitty machine. I was still involved. And I was still, like, drawing tattoo images. Along with graffiti and shit. I was still drawing tattoo images. Mostly traditional stuff. And Yeah, drugs were just too powerful at the time. I was in no condition to settle down. Especially, I was still on the run. After I beat my trial, I was still on the run, so I couldn't stay anywhere for any length of time. You know what I mean? So, yeah, after that, I ended up going, I got so strung out, I ended up coming back to Orange County and stayed with my mom for like a few months, and then I got arrested again.
You got arrested, just got caught up with being strung out.
It's a really dumb story.
Okay.
I went and got dope, and I was driving. I used to get cars off of like Craigslist or whatever. Not Craigslist. It was like Auto Trader and shit like that at the time, right? But I would get them. Like if it was January, I'd try to get them with expired tags that lasted till like for like a couple months away, so I could drive the car and not have to worry about getting pulled over for expired tags. And then I would just get rid of the car and then buy another hoopty. You know what I mean? Buy a car for like $600.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was driving one of those pieces of shit, and some idiot cut me off. Well, I pulled out too far in the lane. Long story short, we got in a road rage thing. I was trying to like chase him to fight him. And I got in an accident, and then I just gave up. I could have ran or whatever, but it was postponing the inevitable. I knew I had to go back to jail, so I said fuck it and just stayed and dealt with it. Ended up going to jail again. But I needed to. I needed to, like, it was too chaotic. Being on the run, being strung out, fucking moving all the time, just way too chaotic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't just live like that forever.
No. And you know it. You know, it's like the freedom's not precious. You get what I mean?
Oh, I see what you mean.
It's like, it's stressful. It's
Yeah.
this constant fuck. You know, especially when things start going in a decent direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, well, I know I can't get
It's
a
all
real job.
gonna be. Yeah.
I can't do anything legitimate because I'm eventually going to get arrested again. So it was a relief. That's why I think I didn't run. I just said, fuck it. You know what I mean?
Tired of all that anxiety all the time. and all
Exactly.
that. Yeah.
Said, fuck it. Let's get it over with. I thought I was going to do a long time, but I ended up not doing not even half as much as I thought I was going to do. But then when I got out, I moved. The only place they would let me parole to is back to my mom's house. I mean, I went. I got locked up in Utah, so they wouldn't. I didn't want to stay there and do work furlough and fucking. I didn't want to do all that shit. If they would let me interstate compact back to my mom's, I'd rather stay with my mom than deal with living in Utah. I didn't know anybody really anymore.
Yeah.
So I just said fuck it. And but when I came back, tattooing kind of took off for me. This is, the internet was more established, and this is, 2004, it was easy. You know what I mean? Yeah, you could use the internet to get stuff at this time.
Yeah.
You didn't need to call Unimax. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could get quality shit online. I remember buying a Mickey Sharp's machine off of eBay, So I was tattooing at my apartment, like everybody, and working, but I was making more money on the weekends tattooing than I was working the whole week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the girl I was with at the time was not feeling it. She was like, "Oh, I don't want you to tattoo. I don't want you to be at a shop." She just thought the idea of tattooing was so different back then. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then I was trying to stay sober at the same time.
Yeah.
So
Was she worried about you staying sober if you went back to a shop or something like that? Or?
I think she was worried about me fucking other girls.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
But I would never cheat anyway. It was nothing she had to worry about, but more likely me shooting dope than cheating on her.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I've shot dope. I've never cheated before. You know what I mean?
So then what? So you were doing your house tattoos, and then were you with her for a length of time?
Yeah.
And then she finally was like, okay, I think you should do that full time? Or?
No, she was even more against it.
Oh, okay.
The more successful it was, she would complain. She complained all the time. People in the house, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And
Which those are valid complaints. Let me go get a job at a shop then.
yes, right.
Yeah.
She was just not feeling it, and we broke up. And I was married to her,
Oh, okay.
and I just was like, "This is not gonna. I'm gonna tattoo." I always knew it, and now that it was accessible, and I was doing good tattoos and doing shop quality tattoos. I felt like, especially back then,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Fuck this shit! Like, fuck her! I'm out of here!" You know.
Yeah.
And I remember I got a job off the classified ads off of MySpace.
Oh, wow.
Remember that?
Yeah.
You could go to like classified ads. And some shop in Los Angeles, and I already wanted to move back here anyway, so I was like, fuck it, I don't care how bad the shop is or how whack the shop is. I'm going to at least get like a foothold up there, be able to get an apartment, fucking start and
Right.
continue on. So that's basically what I did. The shop was some shitty shop in the valley. It had a terrible reputation. There was a bunch of dope fiends that worked there.
Oh, yeah.
But I was sober at the time, so whatever.
Was that hard working with them and seeing them?
No, they had just fired everybody because the tattoos were coming out so bad
Oh, yeah.
that they couldn't continue on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I fixed tattoos for like the first 5 months that I was there, 6 months that I was there.
Oh, the old guys that got
Free.
fired? Yeah.
Anybody that would come in and complain, or anybody that would come in and say, "Yo, I got this here," I'd say, "Look, I'll tattoo you for free. I'll fix the tattoo for free to build clientele."
Oh, okay.
And it worked.
Oh, it wasn't like a thing your boss was making you
Fuck,
do.
no.
Oh, okay.
No.
I see.
I was fixing them, and it built clientele really fast.
Yeah.
And tattooing was starting to get popular. I mean, Miami Ink and all that shit had just came out.
Yeah.
And tattooing was changing, so it was getting way more popular.
Mm-hmm.
So the amount of people coming in, even the stuff that I was fixing, didn't really interfere with my life all that much. And I was doing quite a bit of it, but it wasn't. It was way more. It was more advantageous to do it than not to do it.
Right.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Reinstalling faith in the people in that community.
Yeah, definitely.
And so, some guy that got a fucking terrible tattoo, now instead of hating that shop, goes, "Hey, this dude could fix this shitty tattoo of mine, and look at the other tattoos that I've got from him," and you know.
Yeah.
So I stayed busy. I mean, I turned the shop around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they hired another guy that was a decent dude. I ended up working with him at a different place. But yeah, that's how it springboarded from me coming back to Los Angeles and tattooing. But that was 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe a little, I guess 15 years ago. After that, I worked at a fucking million shops.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How long were you at that shop then?
For probably a year, maybe something like that. Yeah. Then I started working at some other shop that was some gangster shop in the valley. And it was like way too gangster. It wasn't like cool gangster. You know what I mean? It was like fucking
for real gangster.
Gang bang. Too much for me, you know? It wasn't Teen Angels cool gang banging.
Yeah.
It was fucking gang banging shit, and it was too much. And I left, went to work at a shop on Melrose, and then another shop on Melrose, and another shop on Melrose. And then I opened Midtown Tattoo 2011.
Okay.
Yeah, 2011.
Did you work at any notable shops before you opened Midtown?
I worked at Pure Tattoo.
Pure?
Which Sung, he owns Unbreakable. Do you know who Sung is?
No, I don't know so.
He's a really good tattooer, talented tattooer. He owned the shop with this guy Blitz, and he's a good tattooer too. He tattoos in the valley still. Yeah, Norm worked there.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was right on Melrose and Fairfax, behind a barber shop. It's a really cutty spot. No walk-in. It was all clientele spaced. But yeah, it was a great spot.
Yeah, that's cool. It's not still there then.
No. Do you know Triggs? Did you know who Triggs was?
I knew of him. Yeah.
Well, he owned it before. It was called LA Culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he gave up on it or whatever, and then it became Pure Tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that lineage of that shop. I remember what I did after that. Oh, that shop, my boss killed somebody, and then we had to close that shop, and then, yeah, right after that we went to another shop on Melrose.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of shops on Melrose. Yeah, then I started tattooing there. I apprenticed my buddy Tom that works here at that shop. That shop was a fucking nightmare, though.
Yeah.
The lady was crazy. It was so dead. It was so brutally dead. I don't know. It was not good.
Was it? It just didn't have a good location, or didn't have a good reputation.
No, it had a fucking great location. It was right on Melrose.
Yeah, that's what I was.
It's literally like a great location. Me and Tom loved it. Just hang out there and look at girls and shit all day. It was great.
But you weren't doing very many tattoos?
There was not a lot of tattooing. I don't know why. It was weird because when I worked at this other shop that was on Melrose, not even like a quarter mile down the road,
Mm-hmm.
it was fucking so busy.
Really?
So busy. But the housing crisis in '08 and all that shit had just popped.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that had a lot to do with it.
Right.
Because when I worked at the other shop on Melrose before the one that I apprenticed Tom at, was you couldn't price somebody out of a tattoo.
Wow.
The economy was so good, I think. People didn't give a fuck. They'd pay whatever for a tattoo because it was brand new and everybody was doing it.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It was right after like how successful Miami Ink and whatever came after
Right,
that.
yeah.
Whatever stupid shows came after Miami Ink. But you couldn't price people out. There'd be people waiting when you got there. I'd be tattoo all fucking day, 7 days a week.
Jeez.
Yeah, you do a walk-in tattoo, fucking minimum, an $80 tattoo you do for $150. They wouldn't say anything.
They would just do it.
Perfect, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it. Yeah.
Gosh, that's got to be that's kind of like what it was like. I worked at a couple shops on the strip.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's like that, man. I remember I did this tree on this guy's back, and they wouldn't even let me price the tattoos. It was the helper, and so I didn't know what I was making for the tattoos. You know?
Oh, you just do it.
I would do that. Like they'd bring the guy back and be like, he wants this, and then I'd be like, okay, cool, and then I would just draw it and do it. So this guy, he wanted a tree on his back.
Yeah.
Like, you know, with no leaves, just like a dead tree, you know?
I've done them.
And yeah, he wanted one on his back, and he wanted it in the middle of his back. And then I was like, okay, well, how big do you want it? And, you know, he just wanted it pretty small, but in the middle of his back for some reason.
Yeah.
And I did in like 30 minutes, and then he left, and they're like, okay, here you go. And the shop helper brought me the front desk person brought me $600. And I was
It was
like,
$1,200. Were you doing 50-50?
yeah.
What? It's similar.
It was insane, though. I was just like, why didn't he tell me to do it bigger then? Like, he didn't say anything. He was just like, sure, it's a tattoo on the strip. And then it was like, here's your
what year
money.
was this?
No, this was like in 2011.
Yeah. 2011 was bad, too. The economy was fucking terrible.
Yeah, I don't know how. Yeah, we did incredibly expensive tattoos, and they were all bad.
Yeah.
No one that I worked with was any good at tattooing.
Yeah. I mean,
It was crazy. I make a lot of money. And you could gamble right outside, so I was just throwing money in the machines.
as you should. You're young.
Yeah,
Fuck
it's
it.
stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Back to
No,
yeah.
I'm curious.
It was crazy.
It was similar to the same thing where
yeah.
you couldn't charge somebody enough.
Mm-hmm.
There'd be times when you would say, well, whatever, you try to like fleece them, and they'd be like,
Get a little too big for your britches,
yeah,
huh? Yeah.
I'll do it for $1,000. And they're like, I was thinking 300. You're like, okay, I'll do
Yeah,
it for
then-
5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, you couldn't charge enough, and there was just a fucking line out the door. It was 7 days a week,
Man,
just
that's
all
wild.
day, and then it just stopped. It just stopped one day. 2008 or whatever, it was just too much, I guess. And tattooing usually, when the economy's bad, is the first thing that goes, and it was the first thing that went for me. I went from making all that fucking money to struggling. Yeah, it was. You take those times for granted. You think that it's gonna be like that forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we're kind of. I think we started to realize that when with the COVID shit. We're kind of in that time right now.
You realize it's the first thing to go.
Yeah.
Self-care shit is like the first thing that goes when the economy's bad. So, I mean, some people, I guess social media is so weird now because you're not just dealing with the local neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're dealing with, all over the world, people. You have, exposure all over the world, and people will fly in to get tattooed by you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not me, but somebody has it like that. But yeah, so it's kind of a little. It doesn't show the full picture of how bad an economy can be, like especially locally. But yeah, you notice. This COVID thing was a fucking eye opener.
Yeah.
Did you ever think in your fucking wildest dreams you would not be able to open a business, not be able to work, not be able to fucking go to the movie theaters?
No. I've thought maybe there'd come a time where people get over tattoos and then I'd have to get a real job, but not like.
I've never been fearful of that because there's always going to be somebody turning 18. There's always going to be somebody trying to be tough, even if it resorts back to that.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for sure.
Even
Yeah.
if it becomes a criminal element. Because you look at tattooing survived in the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. During the most uptight time in American history, tattooing survived. We're nowhere close to that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it might be smaller, but depending on how dedicated you are, you're ride it out. I think times like this are great for tattooing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it gets rid of the shit.
Weeds out the
It
assholes.
gets rid
Yeah.
of the fucking idiots that are doing stick and poke fucking outlines of paper airplanes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
God bless you, but fuck off. You know what I mean? Books closed for your fucking dumb shit,
Yeah.
And then you realize, oh man, people don't give a fuck,
Yeah.
or I can't continue this gimmick forever. I already know people that have quit, or people that have said, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't do this anymore. And good tattooers.
Really?
That are thinking about doing something different.
That's crazy, huh?
Yeah. So that there's a lot of people that were starting, that were trying to get some traction, and this shit hit, and they were like, fuck it.
Yeah.
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 I remember when the 2008 collapse, people quit. It kind of drained the swamp a little bit. All the shitheads and hangers-on and people that shouldn't be in tattooing.
Yeah.
Maybe I sound grumpy and old, but I still think there's something special about tattooing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah.
But it's not like that anymore. It looks like shops look like fucking dentist office, and it's so far removed from what it should be.
Yeah, they run the full gamut of every type of, there's a shop full of any type of person, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's not a consistency of like people just wanting to make good tattoos.
Tattooing isn't tattooing anymore. Tattooing is so splendored and it's like rock and roll, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of equate it to just tattooing is like rock and roll. But now there's metal, there's grindcore, there's,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
right.
it's splinters and splinters and splinters, and it all has a root. But it's been so bastardized almost that it's almost not even truly what it is anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The I don't want to get myself in trouble.
Go ahead. I'll edit some. I'll send it over to you. You could tell me what to cut if I need to cut anything.
I think that there was an element in tattooing that everybody that got into it, even the people that only got into it a few years ago, got into it because it was dangerous, because it was taboo, because it was something not safe, right?
Right.
And now it's turned into, let's have this. Dude,
Yeah.
it's gotten really ridiculous.
Yeah.
You're taking, I mean, look, I don't think that there's anything inherently cool about a guy being a fucking shitbag to a girl coming into a tattoo shop.
Sure.
Or the subvertly racist tattoo imagery, right?
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything cool about that.
Right.
And I've been diligent about not having that at my shop.
Right.
But there is something to be said about that being kind of like the core of what tattooing was and what people got attracted to it, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's almost impossible to say this shit anymore because people
Yeah.
want to attack you immediately.
Yeah.
But I don't think that it's good to be a fucking piece of shit to chicks when they get tattooed. I think
No, for sure.
Everybody I works for me, everybody I've ever taught to tattoo, I tell them immediately, never make a woman feel weird when you're tattooing her.
No.
And this has nothing to do with Yelp. It has to do with like fucking dignity.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to treat people like shit. But there is something to be said about that old outlawish pirate type life that brought us all here in the first place.
Right.
That there was jagged edges to it. You know what I mean? Now it's become so fucking bland. You know?
Yeah.
It's becoming soulless. You know? I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm old and I don't like change. You know?
Yeah.
But there is a part of me that wonders, like, if it's not taboo and alluring anymore, and if it's not bringing in a certain demographic of people, what is it going to turn into? You know what I mean? Does it just become decoration at that point? You know?
Yeah. It's not that special thing anymore.
No. At least for me, it's less and less and less, you know?
Yeah.
Like I said, dude, you had a tattoo on your hand, it was fucked.
Yeah.
You were fucked. Even criminals I knew at the time were like, dude, don't get your fucking hands tattooed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now it's like every idiot has a face tattoo.
Yeah. Yeah. There's 18-year-olds like you get them every week.
Yeah, get a facelift.
Coming, wanting to get their face tattoo.
So it's lost a lot of the scariness, I guess, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody looks at you like you're a freak for tattoos anymore. You know, you can't really.
It's a good thing monetarily because, well, I mean, the bigger the pie is, the more the fucking people are trying to get a piece of it. So there's so many tattooers now. Like I said, when I was growing up, there was so few fucking people that tattooed. There was only a couple tattoo magazines.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was like Tattoo and then the fucking back of Easy Rider. There was not a lot of, you know what I mean? Like in the early 90s, there was hardly any outlet for tattooing. Now it's everywhere. Like there's celebrity tattoo artists.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I guess there was a degree of that a long time ago, with like Lyle Tuttle and stuff like that, like
Yeah.
the tattooer to the stars type shit. But it was still, the people that were getting tattooed were like kind of rough people. You know what I mean? And it still had that subculture of outlaw, you know?
Yeah.
But now it's like fucking literally uber famous people that are just tattooers now. I'm sure we know
Yeah, definitely.
a few of them. But I don't know if it's a good, bad thing. I guess I would rather it go in that direction than go the opposite direction where it just fucking dies out.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
for sure.
Because at least I can make a living doing this still.
Yeah.
You know?
And there's still I feel like there's still people that keep it alive, you know.
But you have to look for it more than it was just the main.
That
thing.
was the only thing.
That was the only thing it
yeah,
was.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been over. It's like flipped, you know. It's the minority of people getting tattooed now are not the majority of people getting tattooed. I feel like is you know, I don't even know how you describe them without being offensive.
Fucking idiots for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah. They want to get non-committal,
Yeah.
stupid fucking tattoos so they can say they have a tattoo.
Yeah. Well, the thing I hate the worst is you get like maybe like a daughter and her mom, and the daughter is like, "Oh, for Mother's Day, I want to give you a tattoo," and the mom's like, "Yeah, I don't have any tattoos, but everybody's got one, so I guess I'll get one." I was like, "Man, that's not the fucking right reason to be getting tattooed," you know?
No, not at all.
And because your daughter really wants you to get tattooed,
Exactly.
you know, now you're like accepting this gift of some shit that you're like, well, I guess I could do it because everybody's got one.
Yeah.
You know, that's the worst fucking excuse to get a tattoo.
Another thing that got really fucking bizarre was after those tattoo shows came out, everybody came in with some sort of stupid backstory on everything they were getting.
Oh yeah, I remember
That's
that.
finally gone now.
Yeah,
But for a while, it was fucking nauseating. I don't care why you're getting a butterfly.
right.
I don't give a fuck.
That was like my job as an apprentice, and like
Yeah.
you know, like
Listening to stupid
I had to
stories.
talk to them, so
Yeah.
the tattooer didn't have to entertain them.
Because everybody thought, because this was what TV did, it brought these people into tattooing that don't know about tattooing. So they think, oh, I need to figure out what tattoo to get based on whoever in my family has cancer or whatever the fuck it is,
right.
you know?
Yeah,
My grandma used to call me Cookie, so whatever fucking dumb,
yeah.
fucking stupid anecdotal bullshit it is to excuse yourself to get a tattoo. And then I become some therapist and listen to your dumb shit,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, no, and I think the people aren't really sharing their backstories as much.
Oh, it's almost gone now.
But still you have people that are like, I don't know why you would get a tattoo if it didn't have any meaning. I was like, that's the whole reason people used to even get tattooed. It didn't have any fucking. It was like a pretty girl to, you know, like you get a pinup. It's a pretty girl to look at, you know, like
yeah,
there's no fucking like deep emotional meaning.
and I don't think it should. I mean, I think that 10% of your tattoos should have some sort of fucking meaning or some sort of, you know, significance to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somebody dies or
Sure.
some time in your life or whatever it may be. If your whole body is some stupid,
It's gonna be a lot of words.
so
A
dumb.
lot of
so stupid.
And then you get those people that get like a cool image and try to figure out how they like
yeah.
reverse engineer the way they
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, well, I got like this lady sitting on a skull because of some deep.
My grandma had colon cancer. It's so stupid. It's so dumb.
Yeah. Oh man. So you started. So that rant happened.
Sorry.
No, that's all good, dude. That's great.
Good boys.
So you and Tom started Midtown then, right? Together.
Yeah. Some crazy lady, her dad died.
Uh-huh.
I mean, this is a story. And she got some inheritance, and she was like, dude, what do you want then, buddy? she got an inheritance and was like, basically like, yo, let's open a shop, thinking that there was some fucking gold mine in tattooing. Mm-hmm. Mind you, this is 2011. The fucking economy was trash.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. I was at that other shop. I'm like, sounds good, but I don't want to open my own shop. I'm not responsible, and I don't want to take on this fucking nightmare, you know? Mm-hmm. And I don't know how to own a shop. Mm-hmm. I can't pay my bills. I'm going to be responsible? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, nah, fuck it. And so she got all this money and blew it. And then she got like another round of money. I don't know, inheritance. I don't know what happened or why. But she got a whole bunch more money. And me and Tom were like fucking over where we were at. Mm-hmm. And we were looking for shops. But it's hard to like be a tattooer and bring your apprentice along. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, can I get a job at my buddy? You know what I mean? He's going to hang out with me. You know what I mean? He'll learn. You know what I'm saying? So we thought we were going to go to a couple places we thought about and just decided, fuck it, let's give it a shot. You know what I mean? Let's, why not? If it fails, we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's always somewhere else to go.
So she put up all the money for that then.
Yeah, but it wasn't even really any money. It was weird because the economy was so bad. Right on this block, we looked, me and Tom drove around for fucking ever looking for spots.
Yeah.
All over Los Angeles.
Sure.
Up and down every street. For weeks looking for a fucking shop. Looking for a location, just an area. Then we'd find places, find out it was way too expensive, whatever. And I was on methadone at the time, and methadone is right over there, the clinic. This is why the shop exists here, is because of methadone.
You were like, I could just hop over?
No, because I was driving here to get methadone. I was like, this is a cool spot, you know? Like, I like
You're like, I want the shop right next to my methadone.
You know what I mean? I was like, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Like, I like the area, and there every fucking one of these places on all sides of the street were empty. So I talked to the landlord, and he was like, no safety deposit. If you have first and last month's of rent, you can move in.
Dang.
Yeah, no background check, nothing.
That's insane.
So the whole shop got started for like $9,000 or something. Seriously.
How many square feet was that one?
I think 800. This is 1,000. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is 1,000. I think the other one was 800 or 750. I don't remember. So it was less, but it was right across the street. It was literally like catty corner. You can see it from this shop, but we were stuck in between all the Jamaicans, and it was so chaotic. Mm-hmm. And back then, 10 years ago, this is like a real gang neighborhood. It was fucked up 10 years ago. It's not like that much anymore. It's actually kind of devolving a little bit, but it was fucking terrible back then. And it was not good over there. So we said, fuck it, moved over here.
Yeah.
But after that lady, she was so fucking crazy and on drugs and shit, she puts up the money, and then a few months in, like every day she would show up and like, where's the money? It's like, she fucking didn't do shit today. How much is my drop? I'm going to give you, and I'm the only one really tattooing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like.
So it was just you and Tom?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
It was me and an apprentice.
Yeah.
Trying to keep a shop open in the middle of fucking, you know? A horrible fucking depression. And
was she wanting a percentage, or was she wanting like
she
a
wanted
certain
money
amount
every fucking
day?
I don't know what the fuck she thought. So we'd do like a decent day, and then she would like text me like, yo, how come the shop made $140 yesterday and it made $30 today? It's like, well, I fucking did one tattoo today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She was out of her mind. She started smoking speed and all this shit.
Oh, yeah.
And it's weird because I knew her prior to that. I knew her for years prior to that. She was really normal. Just when her dad died, she got on drugs and just fucking. She blew like $1 million. Literally blew like a fucking $1 million.
Holy shit.
Blew it. blew it. Gone. I think she spent, oh, yeah, I think, no, it was $750,000, I think, total. I could be wrong. It doesn't matter. She blew the first part of the inheritance in 6 months. Gone. And then got the other half and then blew that in less time. So she basically blew like fucking $750,000 or whatever the fuck it was. She's so stupid. Just fucking blew it.
Buying drugs and buying friends' drugs.
Fucking. Anyway, you think that, 600 grand is a lot of money. But if you're spending thousands of dollars a day, it's not going to last that long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, she just blew money like it was fucking, like it was coming back, like it was going to be back tomorrow. I don't know what she was thinking. But yeah, so she kept coming in and going, oh man, the shop should be making so much more money. And I was like, what are you talking about? It's like me. It's me only. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I started getting the feeling, I'm like, she's going to close the shop. I have a feeling we're going to come here one day and it's just going to be empty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was communicating with the landlord of this place before, and I was like, I have a feeling this is what's going to happen. I don't have any fucking credit. I don't have any rental history, but I want to keep the place. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way we can do that? And he said, yeah, we'll figure it out. You know what I mean? Just pay rent. We'll be all right. So started saving money. I knew it was going to happen, and sure shit, she fucking came in one day. We're fucking done here. Yeah, so long story short, she fucking came in, took everything. We pretended we were going to leave. We just kept all our shit outside and then moved back in like the day later. I don't know. It was really fucking stupid.
She never came back to...
Yeah, she was pissed. Like,
Yeah.
how do you have the thing? And I was like, fuck off. Yeah, so we kept the shop, and then it was mine from then on. Tom was like the partner, but he moved to Seattle, and then I've just been the owner ever since.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that was like 9 years now. So it's been a wild ride.
So when she was... How long was
Months.
it her shop? Oh, really? That
Months.
quick it was done.
She was so spun out of her mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it went really quick.
How long before you hired another tattooer?
Well, our friend Ryan, he works at Fun City in New York.
Mm-hmm.
He was my apprentice too. So I basically took on, after Tom low-key graduated, I just made Ryan the apprentice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we hired a guy named Phil. He works in Orange County. He still tattoos. And who else? Duncan. He works here still.
Oh, yeah, Duncan.
But he was really new at tattooing at the time, too. And we just made it work. I don't know how. Rent wasn't that much.
Yeah.
Rent was really cheap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, we had tough months and shit, but figured it out. Gutted it out.
Have you had a lot of turnover since you started Midtown, or?
Surprisingly not. No.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been the core group of people for a long time. Recently, one of the shop apprentice left to San Diego, and actually another semi-shop apprentice went to Classic in Fullerton, Jose.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, but they're still a part of the shop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's only been a few people that were a part of the shop that are like not at all evolved anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for the most part, everybody is still related to, even the people that leave, they come back to here, you know?
Yeah.
So not a lot of turnover, not a lot of people that have worked here. I've had some pieces of shit work here, but very few.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's cool, man. And then, so when did you start When'd you start the Midtown machines?
Man, pretty shortly after, started building. Well, I started grinding metal and trying to figure it out at the old shop.
Oh, really?
Like I had a fucking grinding wheel, and I couldn't weld. I didn't know how to weld, so I would just grind pieces of metal and try to figure out how to put them together. It was really stupid. But I wanted to build one. I had no intention of becoming a builder, but I had this desire to make one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I could use and be like, I built this thing. It's like, I don't know why it was so important. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It was like something I had to do almost.
Yeah.
I wanted to be like, I used something I make, you know? Like
yeah.
The full evolution of tattooing almost. And because there was no one really above me at the shop, I had no like mentor, no one had direction on how to do shit. I figured that me and Mick learned how to fucking braze from his dad. And the rest is history. We just started building. And yeah, we started that like 8 years ago, something like that.
That's wild, man.
Yeah.
Did it just start off like you wanted to build a machine for like a learning experience, or to say you use your own machine, or
I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
It was like just to, I don't know, to do it, I guess, to like be the, I don't know, like have the full circle of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I know how to make a needle.
Right.
I've blended powder pigment and fucking, you know what I mean? I've done that. But I never made a tattoo machine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just felt like I needed to do it all. And I kind of wanted, even if I didn't use it all the time, just to have, like I made this. I don't know. Tattoo machines were so important to me a long time ago. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They were so like, even shitty ones. I was like mesmerized by them. Like every little part of the weld and every, you know what I mean? The binding and why, you know?
Yeah.
Why this lug is different. I didn't know. It didn't matter fucking what lug it was, but it seemed important to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess it was just that kind of like attraction to tattoo machines too. Like being so entranced by a tattoo machine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, for sure.
I remember getting like the first real tattoo machine and like just staring at it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Looking at every little fucking part of it and thinking, why is that there?
Yeah, what does that do?
Why is that thing there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then realizing later on, figuring out how the evolution of the machine came about, and it made it even more important. It's weird. I'm a builder. I don't collect fucking machines. I have like a few.
Do you have any like antique machines or machines from?
Yeah, I have a Paul Rogers left-handed prefab from '83 that I got recently, which is fucking insane machine. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, at least for me, Paul Rogers like what it is to be a builder to me. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Waters and all those dudes are really important in the machine building space. But something about Paul Rogers and how handmade and how his fucking tattoo machines are just cool looking. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They look like something. Doesn't look like I don't know. They have such a cool factor to them.
Yeah.
He's always been my favorite builder for as long as I can remember. I also have a Rollo, Rollomatic. But there's something about that, I don't know, look of Paul Rogers machines. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Even the hand-cut ones compared to, I mean, I don't know. Everything he does or did was just so fucking great, so cool. Some people are just fucking cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Paul Rogers is one of those fucking guys, just fucking cool. You know what I mean?
for sure.
I think it's that simple. Some people are not that cool, and then some people are really fucking cool. That guy's really fucking cool. I think it's that, you can boil it down to that guy fucking is cool as shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything he did is just fucking cool. Dude, he built until he fucking died, too.
Yeah.
And it was also kind of a revelation where, dude, I'm big, and you can't tattoo forever.
Yeah, it's hard.
When you start getting into your 40s and shit, 50, I mean, how many fucking old tattooers do you know?
No.
You don't know fucking any. Mm-mm. And if you do, they're like, damn, that dude's old. He still tattoos, you know? But there's no fucking 401k. There's no exit plan.
Yeah.
There's nothing. There's no safety net. That's why all these legendary old dudes are on Instagram hoping that somebody will donate to their GoFundMe. It's just a fucking sad story, you know? All these pioneers in this game and shit. I don't want to mention any names, but fucking A, man. It's, you know, there's no retirement for us.
Yeah, that's what I became very concerned with that pretty early on, watching conventions and seeing like this old tattooer being carted around by somebody and drawing these like their signature on people just to like, and I'm like, dude, I don't want to do that shit, man. I want to, you know, be on the beach somewhere when I'm that old, or at least just sitting in front of a TV, not having to worry about shit.
100%. When I was younger, I just figured I'd die.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have to deal with the old age. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But you just don't die sometimes. You know? Yeah. You just fucking continue to live.
Guess I'm still here.
It sucks.
So when did you come to that realization? Was it fairly early on that you were like, I gotta have some
no, I was still fucking shooting dope and shit. I didn't give a fuck about my future.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I know how unlucky I am. And I know I would live for a long time. You know what I mean?
That's considered unlucky to you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just figured, fuck, man. If I don't do something, I have to do something tattoo related. I'm not smart enough to do anything else. You know what I mean? I don't have any other interests really.
Yeah.
But with building, I know builders that build well into old age. There was always like, I knew I could do that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You don't have to be hunched over.
Yeah.
I can do it at my leisure. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
I mean, old ladies crochet. It's basically the same shit. You know? It's tactile and you have to be able to see and shit, but for the most part, I can do it.
That's true, huh? Because I was thinking too, watching you out there, like your dexterity has to be good, but I guess old ladies. Because I was thinking about what you had said about Paul Rogers, and then I was watching you out there, you know, put little washers on the, you know, and I'm like, damn, he's really like get all three and with those big old fingers too.
Yeah.
I'm like, you have no problem doing that. And then I was thinking about how Paul Rogers, if it got pretty difficult for him when he became pretty old, but I guess if you just keep doing it, just like those old ladies with their nimble little fingers doing that shit.
Yeah, you can also get idiots to help you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess that's true too.
You can pay really dumb people a really small amount of money to help you build tattoo machines. No offense to anybody in the room that might be. No, I'm just saying you can, a lot of building, especially now, you can have bases cut for you.
Yeah.
I would never have anybody wind coils for me unless it got to a point where I couldn't do it. You know what I mean? But you could always hire somebody that's young to do something that you couldn't do.
Sure, yeah.
Or you could outsource it. You know what I mean? But there's no fucking reason you can't, unless you become super feeble or whatever.
Right.
But for the most part, I feel like even if I was in a fucking wheelchair, God forbid, you could still build a machine.
Right.
But with tattooing, man,
you can't.
It starts fucking killing you. Mm-hmm. I mean, in my 30s, I was miserable.
Yeah.
Miserable, fucking bending over some idiot all day, you know?
Yeah.
Trying to tattoo somebody's neck and stuff, and you know.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard. It's harder too for us taller guys. I mean, you're a lot taller than me, but I find myself just like bending in half to get to some places and just being like, man,
Yeah.
this sucks really.
Nothing's made for you. Yeah. So there was definitely a cognizant, like, decision. I have to figure something out, you know?
Yeah.
I have to decide, like, when the machine stuff started kind of moving, I was like, at least I'll have this as some sort of retirement, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I mean, I love it too. Don't get me wrong. I would do it even if I wasn't selling any of them. you know?
Yeah. It was fun watching you work on that stuff and the care that you have when you're, working on stuff and hearing you talking to yourself and you're, well, maybe I should, just stuff like that. I don't know. I thought there was a lot of, you can see when there's a lot of care put into
Well,
something.
You can also see when there's a lot of care not put into something.
Oh, for sure.
So if you look, there's an old adage: you can shear a sheep many times, you can only skin it once. Right? I don't want to sell you a machine and you go, fuck this thing, and then tell everybody that machine sucks.
Right.
I want you to get the machine and go, dude, I fucking love this thing. Or even if it doesn't run the way I like how it looks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I have machines that I fucking hate. But I like the person that made them and I like what they look like.
Yeah.
And it was worth whatever I spent. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, that for sure.
And I think that matters. You can tell when something's shitty. You can tell something when somebody didn't give a fuck about it. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
I aim for that. I aim to show you I gave a fuck when I built it, you know?
Yeah.
Even though I build the same fucking machine over and over and over and over and over again, I still care about every one I make.
Yeah.
You know? I think it's important. I think it's important in all aspects of life to give a fuck about what you're doing.
Yeah.
If you're a bag boy, fucking try.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know. I kind of always felt like that. Just do what you're supposed to do. Does that make sense? In machine building, tattooing, fucking dishwashing, whatever it is.
Yeah. It should just be part of the type of person you are. It doesn't matter what it is.
But I think that's what it is. I think a lot of people don't have pride in anything.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They complain about everything.
Yeah.
Complain about what they live, what they drive, where they work. Fucking, that's all on you.
Yeah.
If you're unhappy, it's because of you. You've decided to be unhappy. Unless something horrible happens to you.
Right.
Fucking safe falls on you or whatever the fuck. You have any control. Then you can still be happy.
Well, you could have controlled that. You shouldn't have put your safe up so high.
But what I'm saying is, look, I have some friends that have had some pretty fucking terrible shakes in life.
Yeah.
They're pretty positive people.
Yeah.
But I know people that had everything handed to them. They're fucking miserable.
I feel like that's the case most of the time because they don't have any perspective.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Then, I don't know. But yeah, I've had that. I had my truck stolen, and the next day, one of the dudes I was working with was bitching about his flat tire and would not let it go. And I had my truck stolen the day before.
I remember you telling me.
And Ryan, remember?
Yeah.
Ryan told me, I've never seen somebody so happy on the day they got their truck stolen. I was like, cause fuck it. If that dude needed it more than I do,
What the fuck can I do anyway?
Yeah, and I can't do anything. So all I can do is control how I react. And then fucking, just hear on and on about this fucking flat tire. And the whole time I'm thinking, man.
Wish I had a flat tire.
Yeah, I wish I had a tire that could be flat. And I told him, I'm like, at least you didn't get your fucking truck stolen, homie. Finally. And he was like, oh, yeah. And he shut the fuck up about that.
Yeah, but it is perspective.
It is, for sure.
It's when people tell you, my life sucks, blah, blah, blah. It's like, compared to what?
Yeah.
You know? Compared to what?
Right.
Ultimately, pretty decent.
I mean, none of our lives suck. We were born in the United States, dude.
You had the
We
fucking
got
lottery.
Yeah.
You know? I think that's the problem here in America, too. Because the separation, we talk about, class and the poor people in America. The poor and the rich don't live too different in America. The richest person in America doesn't live that much different than the poorest person in America.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, except if you go to the extremes of like the homeless and mentally ill person and that excluding, right?
Yeah. Well, even our homeless people compared to
Yeah.
like if you think about like Dubai is a really good example.
Or
Like
go to Botswana.
yeah.
But my point being is, I don't know if I had a fucking point. What I was saying was, here in America, the division's not that different. You could be poor, you still have a fucking air conditioning in your house. You still have access to food.
Yeah.
You still have, basic comforts in life you still have. You still watch TV. You're still doing fundamentally the same shit.
Yeah.
So having that as like the middle ground for life, if you're unhappy, it's on you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, especially if your needs are being met, then what?
It's a pretty easy place to start from. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
You're not starting from flies on your face and fucking,
Yeah.
abject poverty and starving. You're not starting from there. You're starting from a pretty fucking easy place to live. You know?
Yeah.
I'm not the happiest person in the world, but I try to keep it in perspective of how bad it could be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, for sure. Well, how long's that been? Oh, that's been a little while, huh?
How long was it?
That's about, hour 15 minutes.
Sound good?
Yeah, that's pretty good, man. Well, what's up? Yeah. Well, man, thank you so much. Where can people buy machines from you?
You can go to my Instagram, troypeace.mtt or Midtown Machine Co. Don't use the website or any shit like that.
The website? No. Okay.
Just go through Instagram.
Okay. And they just message you, hey, I want a machine, and you'll...
That's the easiest way.
Okay, cool.
Have all the information there,
Yeah.
except Venmo and whatnot. It's easy to go through there.
Right on.
Yep.
Cool. Well, thank you. Definitely buy Midtown machines. I have a few, and they're fucking amazing, and they're beautiful, too.
Appreciate it.
Well, thank you, buddy. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All right.